Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the BPA King of TV Bowling. Again, brought to you by the Bowling Proprietors Association of Cincinnati. Well, this is it. 1989 is going to come to an end for our King of Bowling finals in the men's division, and it all happens right here at Colerain Bowl. Match number one, we're going to see a couple of players. Jen, tell us a little bit about
Okay,
them.
we've seen them both. Steve Bruck and Tim Sharp, two fine players. We're going for a whole lot of money today, and this is it, what we've been waiting for.
The piece de resistance. For those of you that didn't think I could speak French, I don't. But anyway, we're going to be right back in just a few minutes with the finals of the BPA King of Bowling. Stay tuned.
Greater Cincinnati BPA 14K King of Bowling. Brought to you by 14K, Cincinnati's legendary premium beer. 14K, the one, the only, the original.
This is it. The BPA, Greater Cincinnati Bowling Proprietors Association, brings you the 1989 men's finals. We've got more bowling over the next 4 weeks, but the men's division comes to an end today.
He was flirting with disaster on that opener.
Boy, you bet, Jen. I tell you what, Steve Bruck he's an accomplished player, but his record isn't as extensive as his capabilities, I don't think. He really shows me a lot, but run him down here over the next couple of frames and we'll see. Left-hand lane is going to be shooting at a 7-pin. Could have been anything.
And of course, the money that we were talking about is $1,600 first place. And you can be sure that that monetary value will be weighing on the minds of these gentlemen today.
You bet. Match play competition, everybody wants to win, but when the motivation is higher, hopefully so is the performance. Tim Sharp.
Looking sharp.
Looking real sharp is right, Jen. I'll tell you, each and every year, Tim Sharp finds a way, normally in the last couple of weeks, to get on, and as he says here on his stat sheet, almost every year since 1977, with a few exceptions, I don't know how many of those are, but in most of the cases, it's been in the last 3 or 4 weeks.
And he has actually been the king 11 or 12 times. All right.
There you go. Just the way he goes to the line is the way he knocks down the pins. Slow, methodical. Take a look at it here. We've talked about the big ball, the crankers throwing pins everywhere. Tim Sharp just kind of pushes them around. There you go. The head pin to the wall, gets the 4, and then the 4 kind of leisurely rolls into the 7. If you keep the pins down instead of throwing them up in the air, they can knock something else down, right? Yeah.
Looked like he hit his leg. Steve, a little bit going to the line there.
And that could be caused by timing. If you get the ball, your arm swing out of the perpendicular area that it should be in, it can hit your leg on a back swing. It can hit your ankle coming through, which is extremely painful.
All right, 2 spares up for Steve Bruck, 34 years old, married to a Charlene, and he has a daughter, Jessica, who's 3 months old. He's from a bowling family, and he averages .209.
It's a fine average, and going across the house, Steve came out of the blocks hard and heavy with .258, ran into some difficulties in game 2, 177, and then dialed it in on .213, .222, .236, .247 to finish with 1347 for the 6 games, a .224 pin total. .224, nice average.
Tim Sharp's 30 years old, and he works for the CrossFit company. He's married, and he averages .210. So we got some real veterans here. Boy, he's rolling that ball really well.
Extremely well, Jen, and again, the soft roll placed properly on the lane will knock down the pins too. Take a look at it. Right there over about the 14th board, the ball goes into a heavy roll right here, deflects just a little bit, but plenty of time for the 6-pin to take out the 10.
And of course, we are at Colerain Bowl today. Fran and his son Frank Ruggieri are our fine hosts this morning.
Boy, does
Okay.
he look good. I'll tell you what, a few people during the week have said, well, if you really want to give away that card, don't talk about it. Well, we've got to talk
That's
about
right.
it. Walt Sweeney would love to give away a 1989 what?
Mustang GT convertible. Hot little car.
5.0-liter engine. That little baby will get up and move, as does this shot. Wow, what a funny reaction on the 8-pin. Let's see if we can pick it up on the replay. The 8-pin will be the second one from the left in the back row. Let's see if we can pick up what takes it out here. Steve says, well, it looks pretty good. That's the 5-pin. I'm not sure. I think it's a 2-pin coming off the
That
wall
was a strange reaction.
to get the 8. And normally the 5-pin, that's his job. But
All in all, it's X up for a double for Steve Bruck. He's going to try and make it a triple right here. All
there
right.
you go. That's the way you do it. Every year, the King of TV Bowling gets better and better. And it's because of you guys tuning us in and all the people that have something to do with the show, either on or off the air. And we'll run down a list here a little later on in the telecast.
Of course, our all-important sponsors and Partridge Meats, we'd like to thank them for this year coming by and sponsoring us. And, of course, all the oldies, Hudepohl Beer and West Hills Ford and Pepsi. And that looks like trouble.
He got the ball a little wide. He's looking at his hand like he didn't quite get the good roll on it. We ran down Stevens' games. Let's do it for Tim Sharp. Going across the house, 214, 234, 225, 204, 238, 226 for a boringly consistent total of 1341. An excellent average, 223 and a half. And you got to make your spares to average 223.
And he does that so well.
Tim Sharp, Stephen Bruck going at it in match number 1 of our final men's shows of the year. But again, we want to remind you we've got a lot more bowling coming up over the next 4 weeks, Jen. We've got the ladies, 2 weeks, and then we've got juniors.
That's right, and on the junior show, we'll have 1 handicap show and 1 scratch show. And they're both worth watching.
They sure are. The men have a tendency to give us some higher overall totals, but the women are very, very capable of shooting some fine totals. And to watch the juniors is to kind of have a time machine and be able to preview what's in store for us 5, maybe 10 years down the road.
Good point. Okay. Right now, Tim Sharp's in the lead through 4 frames by 8 pins. However, he does have a strike up in the 5th, as you see right there. Steve can take the lead for the first time in the match with a strike here in the 6th.
And he knows it. Taking a little extra time here on the setup, and it looks like it'll pay off. Great shot, Steve Bruck on the right-hand lane. Let's take a look at it. Gets the ball in a little tight. He's going with less hook than we've seen in quite some time. Now this ball deflects a little bit there. The angle on the 6 to take out the 10 isn't quite right, but the roll is clean enough and strong enough to do the job.
It's been a great year in the King. We've had 5 300s rolled this year.
There it is.
In the qualifying rounds, Jen, you're absolutely right. And Steven, mental lapse right there to really get the ball rolling. As pulls the ball right straight through the nose and quite frankly gets a break by only leaving the 3-pin.
Real quick, back to those 300s and qualifiers. Kevin Brady had 1, Stan Eaton, Tim George, Tom Atkins, and Nick Vogelsang, all among that elite club.
That crowd loves it. I'll tell you, 300 games are nice. We love them. The consistency is better yet, but we're still waiting for that 300 game on television so we can give away a $20,000 automobile. Of course, that's after we throw some bowling equipment in the trunk and a case of 14K and a few other goodies I'm sure we'll be able to muster together. That looks good. Correction, that looks great.
Also today, we're going to see in our next match, the winner of this will go on to meet Bill Heflin, and then on to our top qualifier, Alan Runkle, who incidentally won the King Finals last year. And I don't believe that's ever happened, back-to-back King Finals winners.
You're probably right, Jen, because it's so tough. We maybe we'll confront our Mr. Information, Sam Coleman here.
Our roving reporter.
We've got a few of those here today.
Yeah, no doubt.
We've got reporters everywhere. We've got Joe from the Hamilton Press area. He brings us the bowling news from up part Fairfield area. Take a look at Tim Sharp on the split screen. You want to emulate this style? Go ahead. You'll last a lot of years in this game. Nice, easy, roll, accurate, and gets that pin action almost as much as the big crankers. There you go, Stephen.
Oh.
Now the same hit we saw before that took out the 8-pin. Let's take a look at it again here. The pinfall is a little funny looking. Let's look. The 5-pin goes in front, and it actually blocks out the pin that took the 8 out last time, the 2-pin. Bad break for Steven. That was a good shot. Eight pin should be no problem, and he just
barely
covers it up. Spare shooting system on that one, Jen. I personally use 3 boards to the right with my feet and cover up the 8-pin by using the same strike target. How about you?
That's bingo.
Yeah,
exactly.
Not a whole lot of variances on your spare shooting system, except for the big guys that, you know, cover about 30 boards.
Roll ball. There it is.
Oh, super shot.
Excellent shot. Steve Bruck on the left lane issues a challenge. Let's watch it here. This is as good as you can throw one. Right up about the 13th, 14th board. Perfectly placed in a 1-3 pocket, 10
No
in the
deflection
pit. None
at
whatsoever. Every pin doing its job. There you see it. Tim Sharp has control of this match if he continues to strike. If he does not, Stephen Bruck can still win. Wow. That's the kind of break you want in a critical frame. Let's look at it. Big shot. Tim Sharp just does what he does so well, and that's roll the ball cleanly. 6-pin right-hand side of your screen goes to the channel. Love taps the 10 out, and he takes major control of this match. Looking at 9 pins with a double up, that executes to 19, and with a strike here, he can put it away. I'll tell you what. You're not seeing pins go up and out of play here. You're seeing them stay down and spin and turn. Take a look at it here. Tim Sharp likes it. Yeah, he likes it. That's a head pin going to the left channel, kicking the 4 into the 5, and then doing a whirly bird into the 7. For some of the big ball players, it's almost like watching a slow motion replay of one of their shots.
Really?
Party's over.
Yeah.
Tim Sharp will go on to game number 2, but Steve's got nothing to be ashamed of. A bad break on that solid 8 on the right-hand lane,
and he can actually strike out for 246. So good showing by Steve.
Exactly, Jen, and the level of competition goes up, as we pointed out earlier, as the money goes. From a stone 5 to a Wally. One easy shot. He's smiling a little bit about that. Steve will just get out of here. Remember to stay tuned. We're going to be giving the bike away for all you people that helped me out so much in coming up with some ideas for a tip. We drew a winner, and we'll announce that winner after the tip of the week shortly. So that bike, compliments of Wright Brothers Cyclery. You can contact the VPA office if you're the name that is drawn, or as Ted McMahon says, you may already be a winner, right? Huh?
And you don't know it, huh?
That's right. We're not giving away $10 million, but it's the best we can do. Steve Bruck, just a very creditable showing. He's bowled well all year in the qualifiers. Lost a couple of roll-offs, but it's going to give us a nice game here. But it's pretty tough to take down at 265.
You got it. Definitely appropriate scores for the type of bowling that we've had this year for our opening match of the final show.
Well, Stephen Bruck cannot quite muster enough pins to win here in game number 1. Shooting 244, however, Tim Sharp will go on to game number 2, 265. Stay with us.